Oh, something went terribly wrong. This is supposed to be a gnome. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for February the 27th, 2023. And it is vlog, blah, blah. Vlog number 305. I just got back from the dentist, so more about that later. All right, let's see what I've been working on, what my current projects are. So here's the first one. Now, this is very reminiscent of something you saw last week, which was called the star-crossed quilt that I had done. It was a Cozy Quilts design. Well, I had stuff left over from it. I had a bunch of half-square triangles that were left over. Don't ask me why I had so many. Well, actually, I do know because I made too many. But anyways, I had those and I had some strip pieces left over. And I thought, I can either throw these into my scrap buckets and that's where they'll stay until eventually I decide to throw them out. Because, yeah, I hate to say it, but that's what it usually ends up. You have more scraps. They multiply in the night, I swear. Although I keep them in separate buckets, they seem to cross over and do their thing at night and make more of themselves. But anyways, I digress, as I always do. So I created this quilt. And what I did was I threw down a bunch of the half square triangles in the center of this and just built around it. More about that process tomorrow on Idiot Quilter. But anyways, this is the final result. Now, this may look a little wonky to you. And I'd like to say it's not, but yeah, it is possibly a little bit wonky. It's a little bit exaggerated. That's the word I want. Use your words. In this picture, simply because of the way it's laying on the floor, but also I doubled the batting that I put in this one. And I'm thinking of doing that with more of my quilts, depending on their size. It just makes a fluffier quilt when you wash it and you get all the little crinkles that come up into it. That makes it really cozy, I think. So I did that with this one, and that's why it may look a little bit more wonky than it actually is in reality. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. However, am I going to give this quilt to somebody or what? No, I'm actually going to use it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's old age, but when I'm watching television downstairs in our rec room, I often feel a coolish draft. And I have the fireplace on down there. We have a gas fireplace in our rec room, and that helps, but I don't know. It's funny, in these last few years, seem to be a little bit more susceptible to cold than I ever have been in my whole life. I usually run hot. I mean, I'm usually very, very warm. But I guess this happens when you're over 60, over 65, whatever. So this is a nice, generous kind of lap quilt size, but it works really well. I can as a nice, comfy, cozy blanket to curl up under while I'm watching TV. And so that's what I'm doing with this one. So, if I spill something on this one or whatever, I will wash it, of course, if that happens. But if that happens, I'm not going to worry about it because it is not a work of art. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the construction of this quilt, though, tomorrow on Idiot Quilter. So if you're interested, do be sure to tune into that then. And a quickie project that I did on most of it on Saturday. On Saturday, I had a pop-up sew day. It was a surprise to me, as it was to other people, that I was having it because I only decided about 9:30 Saturday morning. And I sent out an email to those that are on my pop-up sewing email list, whatever you want to call it, mailing list. And yeah, I had a few people come. It was a nice, enjoyable day. And in the process, I got this done. Now, this is a design by Chatterbox Quilts. It is a free design, and you can get it. It's very easy to get it if you're interested. I did alter the design slightly to make it a little bit bigger. So it's about 45 inches square. You're seeing it here hanging on my design wall because I have not yet put it on Lucy, and that's one of my plans for later this week. I'll get it all quilted. There's a couple of little errors in this, or not really errors, just things that aren't quite perfect. but then, that's the way it goes, right? And again, this one is something I'll talk a little bit more in detail about tomorrow on Idiot Quilter. Okay, that takes me to YouTube channel of the week. And lately I've been watching a lot of stuff. Again, I think it's my age. I've been traveling down memory road, and there is a channel on YouTube that has some interesting stuff from the past. And this particular one I'm featuring today deals with vintage television commercials, which I'm sure if you're of a certain age, many of these you will probably remember. This week's YouTube channel of the week is for those of you that like to go down memory lane about television shows, and it's called Vintage Television Commercials. And some of these you probably remember from your childhood. That was back in the days when television commercials actually were kind of interesting and told a story. And so here are some that you can catch if you've got a hankering to go down memory lane. So if we look here at the playlist, we just have vintage television commercials. So let's go back to videos and groovy vintage television commercials from the 1970s, an in-depth look at vintage television commercials for products that no longer exist, more vintage commercials for products that no longer exist. There's a lot of those in here. Christmas ones as well, sexy and sexist vintage TV commercials from back in the day. What I find really interesting about this is the things that they will show in old television commercials that we wouldn't even consider showing today. For example, all the kids packed into a car, sitting in the back window or not wearing a seatbelt, that kind of thing, smoking commercials or commercials for cigarettes. Very sexist commercials like women doing the laundry kind of a thing and cleaning up the house, waiting for their man to come home. These are things that are very amusing to see and to think how life was back then before we got all politically correct about everything. So if you want to go down memory lane by way of television commercials, then check out Vintage Television Commercials. So you will find a link for that in the show notes below. You will find a link for my reoccurring Sew Craft with Me there, which you never know when that's going to be available. I'm going to try to make a conscientious effort to turn that on when I'm working for several hours in my sewing room all by my little lonesome. I forget to do that. I get so involved with the project I'm working on, I forget to turn that on. And I know there's been several of you have tried and I haven't been there, and you're getting a little frustrated with me. And I don't really blame you. I told you that if I'm available, it'll be up. And it's like I'm lying to you. Well, I'm not lying to you. So I'm really going to try to make a more conscious effort to make sure that when I'm working, when I know that I'm going to be working for several hours on something, that I activate that link. And if you want to work with me, you're working on something, then you can just hit the link and I will let you in. Give it about a minute or 2 minutes for me to get the system connecting to you. There is, though, Craft and Chat. Now, there's a lot coming up this coming Wednesday. Okay, Craft and Chat is always on the first Wednesday of the month. First Wednesday of the month is March the 1st. It is in 2 days' time at the time of recording this. So it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and runs until approximately 4:30 or so. Again, it's just an open sew day. I think that's the term people use, but it's basically open for anything, whatever you're working on. I've had a few people come on there who just want to sit and listen to the conversation and sort of join in, and they're not working on anything particular. It's just there for you, Feeling a little lonely? Come to Craft and Chat. You won't be lonely anymore. But what else is happening on Wednesday is, as you know, or those of you that follow My Idiot Quilter and you follow Stephanie Stitches, you know that we have started something every Wednesday morning starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We have another kind of open sew day. Sew with Stephanie and Stephen. And for about an hour and a half or so, Stephanie and I are working on whatever we're working on, and you guys can join in too if you wish. Now, this Wednesday, it's a double whammy then, because we have Stephanie and Sew with Stephanie and Stephen, and we have Craft and Chat. So here's how this is going to work. If you join in for the Sew with Stephanie and Stephen, which is great, I will probably leave that open for a little longer than we usually do. Like it'll probably run until almost noon at that point. Then I'll stop for lunch break, and then I'll come back on, but it will be with the Craft and Chat link. So what I'm saying is I'm going to give you the boot at around lunch, and so with Stephanie and Stephen, if you're still there. But don't worry, you can get back on, except you'll have to use the Craft and Chat link for the afternoon session. Okay? I know it gets a little confusing, but both events fell on the same day this month. I don't know how often that will happen. I don't think often. Just the way things are, right? So all the links for both of those are in the show notes below. Those of you on the mailing list for Craft and Chat, you've already been sent out last week, tail end of last week, I sent you out a direct email message with the link to it. I do not send out links for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. Those are always in the show notes of my videos. Okay, covered that. Then there's links to all of my vlogs last week. My vlog, Idiot Quilter, two interviews. And just as I'm speaking, I have 2 more interviews lined up this week. So I'm going to have an interview being posted every week after this coming week, okay? Because I accidentally posted 2 interviews this week, or this past week, I'm going to skip 1 week so I can get things back on schedule the way I had it all planned out, because I had told the people that I was interviewing when their segment was going to go up. So if I start changing dates on them, that's just going to create confusion. But I've got a lot of interviews coming up, about 2 months worth anyways. Okay, and links to anything else that we produced last week. So Chatty, and Stephen and Walter Live, etc. Okay, so, oh yeah, and speaking of Stephen and Walter Live, we did it again. I'm going to have to just stop giving them catchy little titles, because we never get to the catchy little title, and it's like it's clickbait. And maybe in one sense it is clickbait. But I really intended to talk about home decor and the BS language that's used in home decor these days for different styles. And we never got to it. And that's okay. I hope you're not disappointed if you were really expecting that. But we are saving that for next week. And I'll really try to make a conscientious effort to get to that, because I have some things to show you around that topic as well. Okay, that takes me to looking out my window, if I can find it. Okay, where is it? Okay, give me a sec. And here we go. So this is what the day's looking like outside. Very nice and bright. It looks like it's going to be a relatively sunny day, although they're predicting some snowstorms later in the day. But right now it's looking very nice. It's very cool. It's a -4 Celsius, but it's just very kind of pleasant. Even though it is on the coolish side, it's just nice. And it's nice to have the sunlight. And the days are slowly getting longer, which is great as well. So yeah, that's what things are looking like outside my window today. Okay, so that takes me to what's pissing me off this week. Well, okay, it's not so much that I'm really pissed off about what I'm about to tell you. It's more or less just the circumstances, and I'm sure everybody goes through this, and it's the dentist. You know, we have a love-hate relationship. No, we don't. I just hate the dentist, period. Absolutely hate the dentist. It stems from when I was a small child, and the first time I ever went to a dentist, and I had to have some fillings, and the quack put me in the chair, did not use any kind of freezing, and had this drill that went on for days, and I just remember the pain. And that is childhood trauma. It really is. And as a result of that, I've always had a real fear of the dentist. However, what I fear even more than the dentist, and in this day and age in modern dentistry, there isn't a whole lot to fear. The scariest part about the dentist really is the bill. We're coming to that. But, now they freeze you, they have modern methods. It's not so bad, but I still go in white knuckled when I go get into the dentist chair. It also stems from the fact that when I was 10 years old, I had a molar that went abscessed, and I was going to my grandmother's to spend a few days with her, and I was in a lot of pain, and I remember my cheek was swollen right up because of the infection. She took me to the local dentist in her little town, who was an alcoholic. He had a problem, and I got in his chair, and he pulled the tooth, and I think he was drunk. I should have been drunk when he did it. I don't remember a heck of a lot about any pain levels with that, but it was still traumatic. All I see is a dark room and a weird man. That's in my mind from that time. It probably wasn't quite that way, but that's the way I remember it. So, double drama, I can't say this, double trauma. Okay, so let's fast forward to today. So I get my teeth cleaned every 9 months. I know people go more frequently now for that. We do have an insurance plan. Our government in Canada does not cover dental care. We have a private plan for that, which covers about 85% of the cost for most procedures. Not all, but for most. One of the things that it does cover at 85% is a cleaning. So I have this little butcher. She's a nice lady. She really is. But she gets in there with her little torture devices and just scrapes the shit out of your teeth. And you're sitting there, and I'm laying in the chair way back, and I have my hands like this on my chest, and I am sure my knuckles, well, I could feel the tension in my body. I try to relax because it really doesn't hurt. But then you have the worry about, what is she doing behind my head on a computer screen? She comes in with a little thing and she's doing this and then that for a second or two, goes back and you hear clack, 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 clack. My God, she's writing a novel about my teeth. And today she was doing measurements of my gums. That wasn't really good news, but nothing that I didn't expect. Yeah, of course, I'm old. My gums are old. They're receding. However, she doesn't like how much they're receding, and that. So she recommended that I come in more often for teeth cleaning. Now, I floss like a beaver, if a beaver flossed, okay? I floss every time I brush my teeth. I brush my teeth after every meal, and I floss. And I don't just wave the floss over my teeth. I'm in there. I'm going to town, okay? I do that because many years ago, the dental hygienist who was cleaning my teeth, or technician, whatever they call them now, recommended that. And I always went, oh yeah, really, I don't want to floss. I hate flossing. Now, I can't live without it. I have to floss. I floss. In fact, I floss so much that I asked her today, can you overfloss? And she says, no. You can overbrush though. Did you know that? And I'd heard that before, but you can't overfloss. I said, good. Now, basically, the cleaning didn't take her that long this time. However, it's how it's all billed. There's things called units, and your insurance company allows you so many units, and the units are based on time. And I was finding that out today when I was having a discussion with the dental hygienist. We had a nice long talk about my situation. So, long story short, I got my teeth cleaned and everything today. She showed me what the problems are. I do have an area up in here that's a little sensitive, and I mentioned that to her. And she says it looks like there may have been a filling there and it's gone or something like that. Anyways, we looked in the insurance, and yes, I can go more often than every 9 months. So my next cleaning is in 4.5 months. We're cutting it down. We're going to do it at least twice a year, if not 3 times a year. Well, it'll be 3 times a year with that. So I'm going to give that a go. The theory here is the more frequently you come in, according to the dentist, the better it is for your gums and your general oral health and everything like that. And she doesn't have to scrape as long and all this kind of stuff. Okay, we're giving it a go. Now, Having said that, then the dentist came in. Now, my usual dentist just put out an announcement. I've been going to him for 26 years. And actually, the place that I go to have my dental work done, I have been going to this physical location since 1968. Okay? I'm probably one of their longest customers. I've gone through, well, I'm about to start my third dentist in that practice. My first dentist I went to for years and years and years. He got another dentist in with him, and then he retired and he sold the business to the other dentist. And that's the dentist right now that I've had for 26 years. He's decided now that he's made his fortune. Yeah. And he's going to semi-retire. He's not going to work as many hours there. Plus, he loves to do local theater, so he wants to spend more time with that. Must be nice, really. And we're not talking an old man here. Okay, we're talking about a young guy, probably in his 40s. Well, big money in dentistry, really. Next life, I want to be a dentist. So, I have a new one. Now, she's been there for 10 years. Walter has been to her several times. He doesn't like her. Says she's a nice lady, but she's too slow when it comes to a filling. As long as I don't have any pain, they can take their time, as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, I met her for the first time today because she's the one that's now going to do the 2 fillings that I need up in here to get rid of the sensitivity. And that comes up in about 3 weeks' time. Yay! Something to look forward to, right? Seemed very nice, very competent, the whole bit. So, okay, we're going with her. So, I have a dental appointment. Like I said, I usually see the dentist every 9 months. That is for my cleaning and for a checkup at the same time. Now, I will be seeing my dentist in March, and my next cleaning is on July the 14th, which happens to be my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I'm getting my teeth clean. La-di-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, okay. No, the dentist did not give me any drugs today when I was there, but you'd think they did. So, anyways, I had a long discussion with the dental hygienist. I talked to my dentist, blah, 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 and checked out at $245 later. I was out of there. Now, as I said, I have insurance, private insurance. We pay into it every month, and it's a good thing. And I get 85% of that back. So it was $242 even. How it came out even, I don't know. $242 for what I had today, and I'm getting back 190 of that. So basically it cost me $52 for what I had done today. Okay, that's better than the full amount, but but let's talk about this. All right. So let's say I'm paying on average $250 every 9 months. Well, no, that's going to change. Yeah. Okay, I have no idea what these 2 fillings are going to cost, but it ain't going to be cheap. 2 fillings, I'm figuring about $600. I'll get 85% of that back. So what's 15% of $600? That's what? 63, not about $90, $100 out of pocket. I'll have to pay for that. Okay, I know you're saying, well, that's cheap like that. Well, no, because every month we pay 100 and some odd dollars into this insurance too. So, it's all relative, I guess. But the point I want to make is this. They have us by the curlies, don't they? We need to have good oral health. I mean, I saw my parents' teeth as they at the age I am now. Horrible. Horrible. I mean, basically never get my mother to give you a toothy smile because it would scare the bejesus out of you. And that's because in their day and age, they don't look after their teeth the way the generation that's coming up now do. I mean, have you seen the kids today? The teenagers? They have perfect teeth. Well, that's because they go to the dentist all the time. When I was sitting in the waiting room this morning, a mother came in with her 2 sons. The one son was there because he's getting braces and the whole bit and getting other things checked out. And the other son was in there for another cleaning and whatnot. Those boys had nice teeth. Okay? And yes, the reason why is because they're constantly being maintained, And of course, toothpaste and oral hygiene and everything, we're much more aware of all of this and how it's important. And if parents start their kids off like from the moment they're born to, brushing their gums, and then they get some teeth in, brushing those, and getting that into a good routine with them, then yes, there's no reason why their teeth shouldn't last a lifetime. I want my teeth to last the rest of my life. I do not want to have fake teeth or anything like that, and I don't want pain because I have a low threshold to pain, very low. So, yes, it is a catch-22. They charge way too much, way too much. But on the other hand, what's the alternative? We're caught. We have to pay. There's no two ways around it. So our government is supposedly looking into having some sort of universal dental care package for all Canadians. I'm not holding my breath on that one. And if they give us something, it'll be a token thing. It'll probably just mean that dentists will raise their prices even higher. You're still going to need some form of insurance. Yeah, it'll just be smoke and mirrors. So anyways, that's my experience today with dentists, and I'm sure everybody else has horror stories about dentists as well. And what do? We're caught. Okay, so product review. We bought a new grow light, but I'm just going to show you the other grow lights first, how they're doing. Now this is the original grow light, and you can see it's a jungle. It's a mess. It's a mess in a good way. There's some remnants of some of the lettuce varieties we tried in this that really aren't doing well. We have some green onions popping up in there. And we do have another batch of lettuce, the greener stuff on the right-hand side. That's coming along nicely. The other stuff, the real bush that's happening there, that's an herb bush. There's about 4 different types of herbs in that. We're going to clean that all up, replant, and we'll plant just probably basil and or basil, however you want to say it, and maybe some, what else? We're going to get rid of the parsley. We never use parsley anyways. I don't know why we grow it. But probably just primarily basil, maybe some oregano, I don't know. And then some more lettuce. And we've now found a variety of lettuce that does really well under the grow lights. And that's what you see here over on the right-hand side. That is a crop of lettuce there. And we learned that you're supposed to, when you harvest your lettuce, harvest it cutting the outside leaves off to consume, leaving a core in the center, because I guess that helps it to regenerate. More will grow from that. I don't know how long it'll keep regenerating. I have a feeling, this will probably be the last crop off of this, and we'll have to plant some more. But you see the long stalk there in the middle shooting into infinity. That's our tomato plants, and they're doing really well, too well. They were supposed to be dwarf tomatoes, and they're only supposed to grow 12 to 18 inches high, and their maximum height is 18 inches on this. Yeah, no, they're growing bigger than that. So, and these are not full-size tomatoes. These are like cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, whatever you want to call them. So that and our peppers are started over there, and they're coming along nicely too. Now, I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen when these things flower. And I was talking about this on Stephen and Walter Live yesterday and got some tips on how to cross-pollinate our tomato plants. So we'll get tomatoes. So that's a new experiment we will try. But in the meantime, we thought, okay, we need another grow light. So there's a new grow light. Walter found a place in the workshop where he could clear it off, and he put this up yesterday. And this is one that you suspend from the ceiling. It actually has a dimmer switch on it, so you can adjust the wavelength of the light in it, and pots will go below it, and there's going to be lots of space. So that's where the tomato plants and the pepper plants are going to go. And that's our next stage in our development here. Yes, we're working our way up to growing marijuana plants. No, we are not, although it's legal. In Canada, we're allowed to grow up to 4 marijuana plants, I believe. But we don't smoke wacky tobacco because we don't smoke, for one thing, and I'm not getting into that. Plus, marijuana plants, if you've ever smelled real marijuana plants, they smell like someone's been smoking up all day, and I don't want that smell in my house. So no, before anybody asks if we're opening a grow op, we are not. This is vegetables we're talking about here. So the experiment continues, and I will keep you abreast of that. Okay, so, oh, and you might want to know where we got that grow light. Amazon. Yeah, I think that one was about 200 bucks. It's really bright, really bright. I'm thinking I should buy a couple of those and use those for my videos. Yeah, bedazzling for sure. Okay, 3D corner. Nothing to show you, but I just wanted to give you an update on the direct drive filament extruder that I bought for one of the printers. It's working well. I have not had any problems with it, and it's been going. Today is probably the first day, yesterday and today, where I have nothing printing. I'm regrouping here to figure out what my next little projects on the 3D printer are going to be. I've already made about 30 gnome pin cushions, and I've made 10 big bunnies to hold little chocolate Easter eggs in at Easter time if we go over to my sister's for dinner or whatever. So yeah, that's what I was working on. I just replaced the nozzle in the printer that has the direct drive extruder on it, which is not uncommon. They're brass, they do wear, but things have been working really well on my printers. I had a problem with one of the other printers. It for some reason what I was printing fine, and suddenly there's a big shift and it continued to print, but everything was going off on a skew, and I couldn't figure out what that was. And I thought, I wonder if the belt that attaches to the bed is loose. Yeah, that was an easy fix. There's this little tensioner on it. I just tightened it up and bang, no problem. So yeah, things are going along really nicely with that, but nothing to actually show you in terms of a build. Okay, so it takes me to blasts from the past trips. Auckland, New Zealand, day 2. You saw day 1 last week. This is December the 7th, 2016. Wow. Almost 7 years ago. Hard to believe. It just seems like 7 years ago.
Okay, so we're heading somewhere up this big hill called Purnell Rise to some kind of district that's got stores and things, and it's all an older district, sort of historic, I guess, if we manage to get up this mountain. One thing that we have found in Auckland is that this place is very, very hilly, so you certainly get a workout. God, it's too early for a beer. Have to wait and see. And by the way, this is day 2 of our Auckland, New Zealand adventure, and this is what we just traveled up. This is what a lot of Auckland and New Zealand is like. So if you come here, bring your best walking shoes because you're going to get a workout. So this is the Purnell area, and this is what we walked up the big hill, the Purnell Rise 4. And not really sure if it was worth the walk or not, but it was exercise, I suppose. So, oh, Walter says we may not be there all the way yet. Why is it up further, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so might be more to this. We'll see. Okay, so we're discovering that there is a little bit more to this district. There's a lot of little boutique-y places, jewelry, dress stores, cute little restaurants, things like that. Not sure if it's worth the climb, but what the heck, we're here. We'll never be here again, so we're going to see what we can see. Okay, so we did Purnell Street, and now we really don't know where we're going because we pretty much think we've done most of this yesterday. So we're kind of in behind where we were yesterday at the War Memorial Museum, and again, more hills. And we're just walking aimlessly towards the city center, I guess, again. And we'll see what we'll see. Overall, what do I think of Auckland just from a 36-hour experience? Well, it's pretty. It's nice to see it. I don't know if I'd run back to it, but you know, it's New Zealand, so it's great to see it. This is actually the War Memorial Museum, which is a very interesting place. If you're in Auckland, it's worth the price to get in. I think it was $25 a person for general admission, and then they have more expensive ones that include tours and things. But there was actually quite a bit in there to see, and it was very much like the ROM in Toronto in that way. So this was kind of worth the effort to walk the hill to get here to see this. So this is Karunga Street, or K Street as they call it. In the 1980s, it was very seedy, red light district, and they spruced it up supposedly with a lot of little trendy restaurants and things here. There are some interesting places along the way. Looks like some interesting stores to shop in and whatnot, but still looks a little seedy to me. And here's a little bit more of K Street. Here's something that's got a little bit of interesting architecture. These townhouses with the roofs that hang out over the sidewalk. And it's another downhill street. This is Queen Street, and we're heading to the downtown center core and City Hall along this way. This is the common area of the City Hall. City Hall's right here. And down here they've got it all set up for Christmas, and it's all done in Legos. The Christmas tree is made of Legos. Interesting area. Some cinemas here, and right in the distance you can see the Sky Tower. So kind of an interesting little area right down here in the center of the city. And here we are walking down Queen Street. You can see how busy it is on a Wednesday. So, after a whole morning and part of the afternoon walking around all over Hell's Half Acre here in Auckland, we're back at our hotel area, and we're having lunch at some place called The Fox, which is just below. We can actually see our balcony to our room from where we're sitting here. So it's just a stone's throw away, and we're enjoying a Fox Golden, which Walter said what?
Tastes a bit different.
Okay, he says it tastes a bit different. Heaven only knows what that means. I guess it's a New Zealand beer, maybe. Whatever. That's how you find out these things if you give them a try. I'll just scan around so you can see the area.
It tastes like a whole garden.
And up there is our room up at the top, up through there. You can sort of see it. And that's the inside of the restaurant there. It's a little dark. It has a very good rating on it. 4 point, would you say 4.3?
Yes.
Out of 5. So anyways, we'll let you know. I'm having butter chicken, and Walter's having some chicken and bacon burger kind of thing.
And that takes me to events in the past week. Well, Walter made pancakes. Okay, we know that Tuesday was Shrove Tuesday, right? Traditional food for Shrove Tuesday, you know, which marks basically the last day before the beginning of the Lent season, if you are of someone of a religious background. We are not, but we like pancakes. And pancakes are not a religious thing. I mean, I don't remember reading in the Bible at the Last Supper that there were 12 orders of flapjacks. So I don't know why this has become a thing, but I guess it is. Anyways, I was watching a video where somebody was making some pancakes and talking about it, and I love pancakes. And when I was a little kid, we begged my mother to make pancakes for dinner, and she would on occasion. Now, I think really when my mother did that, that was in order to extend her food budget in those days. But either way, as a kid, I was really happy to have pancakes for dinner. So Walter had the same idea. So he made his Dutch pancakes, and you've heard us talk about them before, and they're absolutely delicious. They're more like a thick crepe, and you put brown sugar and butter on them first, and like when they're warm, so the butter kind of melts and the sugar sort of melts. And if you've got some fruit or fruit compote or even just jam, you throw that on and sort of roll it like a crepe and then put syrup on it. It is so goddamn sweet, but it is delicious. Yeah, it's a great thing to talk about after I just came from a cleaning at the dentist, right? But they're absolutely delicious. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. I have a little video clip to insert here for you, showing you Walter making his Dutch pancakes.
So it's Shrove Tuesday, or some people call it Fat Tuesday, which is usually the day before Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of Lent for the Easter season. So the traditional food for Shrove Tuesday is pancakes.
And so Walter is making his famous Dutch pancakes.
So isn't that a religious holiday?
Yeah, it is.
Well, we're not religious.
No, but we eat pancakes.
Yeah.
I'll use any excuse to have a Dutch pancake because they're absolutely delicious. And some of you may remember the video that I made way back about a year or so ago showing you my try at making these, and it was pretty much a comedy show because it was a disaster. But Walter knows what he's doing with them. So they are delicious. So here's the finished product.
The top one's kind of burnt.
The top one's kind of burnt, Walter says. Okay, pull that one off. Look. There they are. They're kind of like a thick crepe. And this is pureed fruit compote. That's what we'll pretend it is. They were frozen berries, and I think they got over zapped. And then there's brown sugar and there's syrup. So you basically put butter and brown sugar and syrup on top of these and fold them over and lace them with the fruit as well. And they are Dutch pancakes made by Walter. Yeah, so those were absolutely delicious. I could eat those all the time. But what else happened in the last week? We had a pop-up sew day, as I've already mentioned. It was very unexpected for both me and everybody else. It was Saturday morning. Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, I like to watch The Guy Who Sews. He does a live Brekkie with Sean, or with The Guy Who Sews, thing for about an hour and a half every Saturday morning. And he usually has a special guest on with him. I've been on there a couple of times. It's fun, and I like to watch it and listen to it while I'm sewing. And so he had that. And then I thought, well, I'm deep into sewing. Walter's still in bed, as he always is, because he does not see morning light. And I thought, well, what the heck? Let's send out a notice to everybody on the mailing list that I'm on here. Sent them the link and said, if you want to join me. So a bunch did. And we had a nice day. And we sewed from 9:30 till 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's where I got that candy swirl quilt that I was showing you earlier, done pretty much. I had a ball. I just love doing that because you're with friends. And yeah, so I'm going to do a few more like that. Truly make them pop-up sew days. Before I said I would give about a 24 hours notice, and I may still do that as well, but I may just do it again at some point in time. Pop-up sew days are always on a Saturday because they were originally, I planned them for those people who had told me they wish they could come to a craft and chat, but they had to work. Go figure. So the pop-up sew days are always on Saturday for those people who work and have Saturday off. So I do have one actually scheduled. That one will be on March the 18th. I was browbeaten into having it on that day because it's one of my friends' birthdays on that particular day, but that's okay. We're going to do that. So March the 18th, and I will probably put that next week, that link down in the show notes for it. But anyways, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And so what else is coming up? Well, you already know about Craft and Chat on Wednesday, and so was Stephanie and Steven on Wednesday as well. Busy day on Wednesday. So I think that's it for me for now, and I've got some sewing to do here, so I got to get to it. Tune in tomorrow to the Idiot Quilter, and I'm going to talk about some of the projects I'm working on in a lot more detail, and a whole bunch of other things as well. So hope you have a great week. Maybe we'll see you online later in the week. And if not, have a good week anyways. Although it'll be better if you joined us. See ya. Bye.